time is less, why should I meditate? Especially when there are 10 different activities which I could do instead. So in this video, let's address this question by laying down what changes you can expect to see if you devote yourself to the practice of meditation. Of course, this depends on the method or tradition you choose, the teachers you are graced with, and the time you spend. But all three being genuine, this is what you can expect to see. The first stage of internal changes. Now, this is the most basic level, and almost everyone who devotes their time diligently will start seeing these changes within a few weeks of practice. You will become much more cognizant of volatile reactions and as a consequence be more calm and peaceful in your daily interactions. There is no magic here. Meditation is the act of observing your mind and not getting lost in thoughts. And as you improve in this observation, you start noticing the needless stories the mind creates and how you're getting embroiled in them. Consequently, you repeat those mistakes less and less. A choice on how you react starts becoming apparent, and even though you will still be periodically pulled back by your habits, the growth becomes much easier. And even if nothing more happens, this stage by itself will make you a much more happier and fulfilled person. At the minimum, you should build this 5-10 minutes daily meditation practice as non-negotiable as, let's say, brushing your teeth. And within a few weeks, the changes start coming and slowly you merge into the second stage. The second stage of external actions. Now, the benefits start diffusing to the external world. Whereas in the first stage, the changes were mostly internal, at this stage, you start exhibiting behaviors such as patience, compassion, kindness, forgiveness towards others. You start getting less annoyed by people, less judgmental, and much more understanding of the fact that everyone is facing their own struggle. Now, it needs to be said that today, unfortunately, these traits have somewhat of a branding problem. Kindness and empathy are often seen as a sign of weakness and definitely thought of less important than, let's say, being pushy and aggressive to get what you want. Yet, if you have reached this stage via a genuine meditation practice, you will find these traits accompanied by an intense inner strength and self-confidence. You don't display patience or confidence because you have to or because you're anticipating a future benefit. These traits become a part of you because you start realizing how beneficial they are to you and to those around you. You start seeing how empowered and how happy they make you feel. And this is a fairly advanced stage. It does require some rewiring of your health notions, but well worth it. The third stage is the beginning of insight. If the first two stages dealt with improvement of your day-to-day life, this is where the outlook towards life itself starts changing. The raw power of ancient traditions, especially the non-dual ones, start appearing here. And whereas in the previous stages you were trying to refine and rewire your habitual patterns, this is where you're attempting to turn them almost a 180-degree angle. And you start seeing that maybe, just maybe, things are not what they appear to be. What does the illusory nature of the world mean? What does impermanence of all things signify? What is the ground of seemingly abstract questions such as who am I? Should I bother myself with the distinction between self and not self? All such questions start taking on a new meaning. Perhaps today you feel these questions are fluffy or irrelevant or only for those who couldn't make it in the real world. But if you have went through the first two stages, at this stage, now you start seeing that there is something more to these questions than what meets the eye. That perhaps there is more to meditation than simply lowering your blood pressure and appearing calm outside. Perhaps it can be life-changing. This is why it is vital that you go through the previous stages before you come to this stage. Because if you jump directly here, what happens is that you gain a theoretical understanding but miss out on the practical implications, and it all becomes just some intellectual posturing. Not worth it. Also, needless to say, merely understanding the theory would have little, if any, impact on your day-to-day life. Worse, you might just spend time arguing with others that your method is better than theirs. This is why every single good teacher I have seen was always very well aware of different traditions. They had explored and understood them And even if now they were only teaching one single path, they were well cognizant of the finer points of other methods. The final stage and the stabilization of insight. What started as a glimpse in the previous stages becomes much more stabilized now. You actually come full circle, living in the same world as you were before, but with a much different outlook towards what's happening. Yes, pain and hardships still come, but they have substantially less power over you now. Technically, once you reach this stage of stabilization of insight, of having had true self-realization, it would be impossible to go back to your older ways. However, for most of us, the torrents of life are too powerful and they will periodically pull us back. Yet, the strength and clarity which you have gained will remain unmistakable and unquestionable. You will serve as an anchor for yourself and for others around you. Now, as we have discussed in different videos, meditation is an inherently individual endeavor, so you do need a certain bit of discipline and consistency. It is a path where you will always be progressing and finding new views. The insights will start becoming clearer, the questions will become much more articulated, and the answers much more visible. The objective is always the same. You have to realize you are this relaxed awareness, not the constricted and tense spring which you feel you have become. Again, good luck, stay steady, stay consistent, and stay curious.